Welcome in, everybody. I hope you've had a good week since I've seen you last, or longer if it's been longer. But welcome into this mindful movement session. So always doing these sessions to the best of your ability. If you need to make any extra adaptations, or if you need to stop for any hydration, rest, or whatever it may be, then feel free to do so. Remembering this is your session. I'm just here to guide you to the best of my ability and to give you those adaptations along the way. But if you need to make any extra adaptations for yourself, then feel free to do so. With that out of the way, let's get started with just doing some nice deep breathing, going in through the nose, out through the mouth, and continue that breathing there. Just nice, slow, long, deep breaths, and some point over the next couple of breaths, let's just bring those eyes down to a close and bring that focus inwards. So just nice, slow, deep breaths. Notice how it feels when you breathe in, that oxygen rushing into your lungs filling up, inflating your chest, giving you some good posture. And then when you breathe out, you're just relaxing down, just let those shoulders sink and relax down into where you are. And just go back and forth between breathing in, breathing out, and just being fully aware of the whole process as you're doing it. Try and make that out breath a little bit longer than the in breath as well. Just extending it out on the out breath. It's just sending our whole body, our nervous system, everything just into a state of calm, state of relaxation. Now we're in that much more relaxed state. Keep the breathing going here, keep the eyes closed, and let's start by thanking ourselves for being here today to do this session. As we often say, sometimes the hardest part of the session is just turning up in the first place, but we are here. So first of all, thank ourselves for being here. Be grateful that we have the ability to be here today, but also remind ourselves that now we are here, we can stay focused on whether it's the breathing, the mobility, stretching, yoga, whatever else we do today, that we stay as focused as we can be throughout the session, but also with the mind of thinking that sometimes the mind does wander, and forgiving ourselves if it does, and just allowing it just to come back in line whenever we catch it, bringing it back in line to focus again. So just being mindful, all of that during this session we go through today. It's all about making the most of this hour that we have together here. Keep the breathing going, keep the eyes closed, start to sit up nice and straight though as you do so. And as you breathe in now, I almost want you to imagine, again, keep the eyes closed, keep the breathing going, but as you breathe in, I want you to imagine there's a string almost pulling your spine up through the ceiling. So it's like a string that's pulling your spine up and you're elongating as you're breathing in. And then as you breathe out, you sort of relax down, almost like you're a puppet on strings. And then when you breathe in again, you're being pulled up towards the sky. Feel like you're pulling all the way through those vertebrae up to the ceiling. And when you're breathing out, you're relaxing down. Just link it with your breath there, so however long it is to breathe in, feel like you're being pulled up. And as you breathe and breathe out, you just relax it down. Just repeat through that cycle. And the timing is just however long it takes to breathe in and however long it takes to breathe out. ease off that one slightly. Start to open up your eyes, and as we breathe in, now we're going to squeeze those shoulders up towards the sky. And as we breathe out, we're going to relax them down. So breathe in, squeeze up. Breathe out, relax down. Good work. Instead of coming up and down with the squeezes, squeeze those shoulder blades back behind you as you breathe in, and as you breathe out, push the shoulders forwards. I'll turn to the side as well. A little bit easier to see from there. So breathe in, squeeze back, breathe out, push forwards. And from there, let's just go into some shoulder rotations, rotating the shoulders around. Nice, gentle circles round. There we go. Mobilizing it all there. Nice work. Let's change direction and go the opposite way now. Again, just nice, gentle circles. Around we go. And let's start to move those shoulders around a little bit more. Roughly have the hands onto our shoulders, circling those elbows round. Don't worry about which direction you do because we're swapping them in anyway. But just going around either double arm like so, or alternating arms if that's easier for you, or just the single arm. And then swapping whenever you're ready to, if you're able to do both arms. But just do whichever one works for you here. Nice work, everybody. Just a few more here. And let's change direction and go the opposite way. work. And let's start to open up a little bit more now by tracing one arm round in a circle the best we can. Remembering if you can't get a full circle like myself, if you need to do it with a smaller circle or even with a slightly bent arm, just doing what you can here to move that round. Good work. Let's change direction with that arm. Nice. Let's swap over to the other side now as well. Oh, you can see the train. Excellent. Change direction. Nice. Well, let's just go into some shoulder rotations again. Change direction. Excellent. Well, let's go back to some nice deep breathing, going in through the nose and out through the mouth. And as you breathe in, bring the hands up. And as you breathe out, push down. Now breathe in, bring it up, and as you breathe out, push those hands forwards and down. So breathe in, breathe out. Oh, big spasm. Good. Now as we breathe in, when we push out, we come out to the side and down. So breathe in, breathe out. Breathe in, breathe out. just had to think about the lights coming on, they came on. Alice is in the room, that's why she put it on for me. It wasn't magic. So now as you breathe in, bring it up. And as we breathe out, we're going to push up, out, and around. If you're able to bring the hands all the way up, that's great. But if not, wherever you can get to, if it's a shorter range of motion, that is absolutely fine. So just breathe in and then breathe out, up and around. Good work. Good. Let's go into some shoulder rotations again. Change direction. And feel free to give it a bit of a wiggle, mix it up. Just go what feels right to you. Good. Let's go into a little bit of stretching now here as well. So we're going to take one arm, if we're able to, reach all the way up and over. Hold it there for about 3 to 5. Then coming down and over the other side. But if you're not able to have your arm all the way up and over, you can just bring it lower and in front of you. Just making sure we're reaching over the best we can each time. Holding it for about 3 to 5 seconds. And then switching back and forth. Great work, everybody. Good work. Let's bring it. So bring both arms out so we stretch that chest across the front here. And then reaching one arm forwards. Really push that shoulder forwards in the joint as you do so. Bring it back, open up the chest. And then reach the other arms. And keep going forth between the two here. Just stretch, open up the chest. Try and bring those wrists back as well as those elbows as you do so. Then reach forwards, reaching all the way the best we can. And go back and forth again. So reach forwards, reach back. Good work. Let's go. Just do some shoulder rotations again. Just to ease out of that one. And then we got one final stretch. Well, actually, no, we've got two small stretches to go. First one here is we're going to place our elbows either into the side and come out and back in. So that's option number one. But if you're able to do option number two, I would say to go for it, which is keep the elbows high and rotate them back and forth. But don't worry if you can't do this one. Just keep those elbows down low and go in and out. As long as we're trying to maximize that stretch there as we do so. I'll turn to the side so you can see it from there as well. So it's rotating up, back, rotating down. Or if you've got your elbows tucked in, you come out to the side and back in. So that's your two options there. Excellent work. Let's ease off that one. And we're going to one last stretch here. So we have our hands on our hips or around about that area on your wheels. We push the elbows forwards and then we squeeze them back behind us. Pushing them forwards and squeeze behind us. I'm going to come to the side again so you can see it from there. Push forwards, squeeze back. Excellent work. Let's relax out of that one. And we just use some shoulder rotations to do so. And mix it up as you wish. Good work. Let's have a little hydration break here. Great work so far, everybody. We're going to go into some of our spinal or neck and spinal mobility in this next bit. So get yourself in a comfortable position to achieve that. And we just start with some nice deep breathing first of all. In through the nose and out through the mouth whenever you're ready to. And let's go into our flexion and extension to start with. So just nice and easy, looking up and down. Nice gentle movement. Good work. Nice fluid movements between looking up and down, flexion as we look down, extension as we look up. Nice gliding movements here. The next time you look down, let's hold it there. Let gravity take over a little bit as well, and just sort of sink into it. Feeling that extension there. Sorry, that stretch through the back as we're flexing. If you're struggling to breathe in this position, just ease out of it, take the breaths necessary, and come back into it. And in this position, if we were to take it a little bit further, we can just rock it side to side whilst the chin is tucked down. Yeah, let's ease out of that into some looking up and downs again. Extension as we look up, flexion as we look down. And the next time we go up, what we're going to do, start by looking forwards, hand just on top of the sternum here. Keep the mouth closed and just look up from there whilst pulling that skin down on the neck where your hand's placed. Feeling that stretch through the front of the neck. Good work. And to take it a little bit further there, whilst that neck's in that extended position, you can just rock side to side. And you'll feel that stretch sort of shift from side to side. There probably is one side that you feel it a little bit more than the other. I feel it a little bit more when I go to the left on that right side. There's a number of factors why that might be. It could be the position you're sat in all day, the way you sleep, the side you sort of lean on more, or if you're looking one side more than the other. Yeah, let's ease out of that. Let's do a couple of flexion and extension as we do so. And we're going to our rotation next. So looking one side, looking to the other, back and forth between the two. Again, nice and controlled movements. Nothing too crazy here, just moving between looking left and right. What we're going to do, we'll hold it on the left side, but to do so, start by looking forwards, bring the left hand onto the right collarbone, hold that in place, and then look over to the left side and play around with it if you didn't quite get it right the first time. So start by looking forwards, left hand on the right collarbone, block it sort of in place and rotate around to the left, and then hold that position. Feel that stretch there. And then if you want to take this a little bit further, in that rotated position, you can just do some looking up and downs. You might find an area that you get just a bit more of a stretch, especially if you look up. Let's ease out of that one. We'll do some lefts and rights. And then we'll do the right side this time. So start by looking forwards, bring the right hand onto the left collarbone. Sort of almost lock that in place there, keep the mouth closed and rotate around to the right. I'll repeat that again. So we start by looking forwards, right hand onto the left collarbone, lock it in place and look around to the right. And just holding it there to begin with. And then whenever you're ready to, you can, if you want to, you can take it a little bit further just by doing some looking up and down in that fully rotated position. Good work, ease out of that there. Let's go into our lateral flexion now, bringing one ear to one shoulder, to the other shoulder, back and forth between the two. Just nice, gentle movements back and forth between the two. Probably feel more of a stretch on this one. That's perfectly normal and natural. These muscles tend to get worked less than the others anyway. And that's why it feels that way. Next time you find your left ear on your left shoulder or near to it, hold that position. You've got three options from here. Option number one is to keep it like there with the arm on the lap. Option number two, drop the hand down and pull it down towards the floor. That's going to increase that stretch. Or if you want to change that stretch up a little bit, we can bring that arm behind us and feel it there. So option one, hand on the lap. Option two, drive it down towards the floor. Option three, do the driving to the floor, but bring it behind you slightly. And then again, we can take this a little bit further from here. So whilst the ears on the shoulder, we can just sort of rock that head back and forth a little bit. And you'll feel that stretch shift slightly from different parts of the side of the neck there. Yeah, let's ease out of that, doing some lefts and rights again. And then the next time you find your right ear on your right shoulder, holding it there. And then again, you got your three options. Option one, hand on the lap. Option two, arm down by the side. Option three, arm behind you, but still driving it towards the floor. And then from there, we can take a little bit further, but again, by sort of rocking the head back and forth in that laterally flexed position. Yeah, let's ease out of that. Doing some lefts and rights again. Good work. Let's start to go through the rest of our spine now. So we'll start with some flexion extension. And then so we're arch back like a high jumper going over a pole, and then curl forwards like a shrimp or a prawn, and go back and forth between the two here. And you get to see the train again. There it is. There. Just so you know, that train was installed as part of the 2012 Olympics. That one. It's called the Docklands Light Railway, which means it's still old, but it's nowhere near as old as the Underground, which is like 110 years old or something like that. The Underground is. Good work. So on the next one, we will go into some rotation. So rotate one side, rotate round to the other. Good, and then we go into our lateral flexion. So coming down to one side, coming down to the other, going back and forth between the two. And remembering not to lean forwards or back as you do this. Try and stay in a line. Imagine there's a pane of glass right in front of you and right behind you, and you're just slipping down between the two. Yeah, then we're going to come round as if we're in a whirlpool. Change direction. And then ease out of that there. We can give it a little bit of a shake off as we do so. Good work. We are going into our next bit now, but before so, if you need a drink, grab yourself a drink. We've got a little bit of a time here to do so before we move into this next bit. Alrighty, so we're going to do some of our yoga stuff today. We're going to start with some of our threading the needle, and then we're going to come back to do some other parts of it. But we're going to start with that threading the needle. So to do this, what we do is get one arm. I'm going to start with my right arm, and we're going to place the forearm across our lap, just like so. And then from there, we rotate and point the other arm up to the ceiling. So in this case, it's my left arm pointing up to the ceiling. That's the starting position. Then we're going to come down, and the gap under our armpit here, we're going to go, as why it's called thread the needle, go through there, then come back out again, and go back and forth. Now, if you can't bring the arm down and through that hole that you've created, then what we can do instead is just sit up a little bit more, still keep the arm on the lap, but we'll bring the arm up, and then we just come across the body the best we can. So it's just a slightly less bent forwards version of this, whether you come down and really try and thread that needle. Notice on this one I am leant right the way forwards as that hand comes through. So if you can do that, but if you're not able to, we can just come across the body instead. We're still getting a good range of motion as we do so. Get some good stretch in there through the chest, the front deltoid, the elbow joint even gets a little bit in as we come down and across. You get a good stretch in there as well, across the rear and the back. Nice work, everybody. Good, let's ease out of that and we'll change over to the other side. So left arm, if you did right arm last time, on the lap. And we're going to point up towards the sky. And then bring it down, thread the needle through. And go back and forth again between the two, reaching up, reaching down through that gap. Good, well, let's ease out of that there. So we're going to go through to the beginning of our yoga positions now, which is where we reach down to the floor to the best of our ability. Then we come up with that flat back to about 45 degrees. Then back down again. And then the second time you curl up, sitting up nice and tall. Good, all the way back down to the beginning again. So you just alternate between coming up with the flat back to 45, back down, curling up the second time, and back down, then coming up with that 45 degrees again, straight back as you do so, and then curling up the second time, alternating between those two positions. Good work on this next one as you come up. So curl up, bring the palms together, reaching up, out, and around the best we can. Remember, if you can't come all the way up and around, if you can do a smaller version of that, that is fine. But just keep on going through this now. So come up with that flat back to 45 degrees. Back down, curling up the second time. Palms together, reaching up, out, and around, all the way down. Just going through that range of motion. Nice work. So up with the flat back, back down, curling up the second time. Palms together, reaching up, out and around, all the way down, and back to the beginning. Up with that flat back, 45 degrees. Back down again, curling up. Palms together, reaching up, out, around, and let's go one more time wherever you're at on this. Good work, easing it off there. We are just going to do a little bit of shoulder rotations just to ease out of that one. If you feel like you need to wiggle, move around, however you feel like you need to move after that. And then we're going to move into the last part of today's session, which is our mindfulness part of the session. So if you feel like you need a drink before we get into this, feel free to grab it. But if take your time with that, we'll just do some deep breathing if you're not having a drink. And you just join in when you're ready to. Alrighty, in today's mindfulness part, we are going to be doing our body scan, starting from the top of our head, going to the tip of our toes, checking in with each part of our body as we go to see how it is feeling. So when you're ready to, we're going to start to bring that focus and attention right up to the top of our head, and just put the energy, put the intention, and put everything we can into focusing on how that top of our head feels here. And this is an area that doesn't feel that much anyway. There's not many nerve endings here compared to other places. But we could still focus on it, see if there's any feedback that it's giving us. And it's a good way just to check in with our body as we move down now into our forehead and our eyes, eyebrows area, and just seeing how it is. You can squint, you can open your eyes, give the brow a wiggle, and just move it around there. Nicely. And just see how it feels, see what feedback you get. You can maybe make some analysis on why it feels that way. If the eyes are feeling heavy, then it's probably needs some more sleep. Or just more recovery in general. Moving down now into the cheeks, the mouth and the jaw. And we can move this around as well. See how it feels. Good work. Let's move that focus from the front round to the back and to the top of our neck. So going down vertebrae, fibrous vertebrae. I want you to imagine them in your mind as you go down here, seeing how it feels, picturing it as you move it around if you're moving it around, and seeing if there's anything there. And if there's not, that's fine. We're making a baseline assessment. We're seeing how it feels on a regular day and just noticing how it is. Good. Let's bring that Focus away from the spine into the shoulders. And again, we can give this a wiggle, we can give this a move. Notice any that are in pain or discomfort. If it is in pain, just back off from that movement there. If it's just discomfort, then just notice it, and see how it is. We'll bring our focus down through our arms into our elbows. And then down the elbows into the wrists. Again, we can move these wrists around, see how they feel. Into the hands and the fingertips. Bring that focus from the fingertips now all the way up our arms into the spine again, but going through from the bottom of the neck downwards. So you can give it a wiggle, you can give it some movement, some rotation, and see how it feels. Usually with this area, it's feeling a little bit loose, but maybe even just a little bit tired from the stretching and mobility that we've done through it today. Sometimes I like to check on my digestive system as well, so just put some focus and some thought behind maybe why it feels the way it does, and just taking a moment there just to see if there is any feedback from the area. Bring that focus down now into the hips, and whether you can feel or move it or not, then that is not a problem. You just want to put that energy down there, see what comes back to you, and just keep a log of that within your own mind. The more we do this, the more you understand of how your body feels on a regular basis. So if there's anything that is up or untoward, then we can kind of maybe get those early warning signs. Moving down now through our legs into our knees. You can give them a wiggle if you need to. I like just to give a little wiggle side to side. That just helps me give a good estimation of how they're feeling. Then go down through the lower legs into the ankles. And again, doesn't matter if you can move it or not. We just send that focus down there, send the energy down there, see if anything comes back. And right to the tips of our toes. We're going to do 3 deep breaths together. We're going to imagine there's a bright white light that when we breathe in, it's going to go from the tip of our toes, fill us up with that bright white light all the way up to the top of our head, and then release it out. We're going to do that 3 times. So first of all, just breathe out, and then start to breathe in. And then breathe out. 2 more. Bright white light. Breathing in. Breathing out. 1 more here. Breathing in. Breathing out. Return that breathing to normal. And whilst we still got our eyes closed here, let's thank ourselves for being here today. Getting through the session, staying as focused as we can, doing some good movements, some good stretching, some breath work, and of course our mindfulness at the end, linking it all together. So thank yourself for being here, turning up, putting in the time, putting in the effort to go through these. And then whenever you're ready to, you can start to open up your eyes. Bring yourself back to the room as we bring today's session to a close. Thank you very much for joining me again today.